Go ahead, Scott.
Hey, good morning, guys, and welcome to the grounds with Giles and Jones. Only today, Slagle and Cappuccino are out on the streets trying to find out some more fun, good stuff and spread the word, spread the news. So hope everyone had a great week. Welcome in, as you see, Kent today.
There we go. on this side of the camera, but there is Uncle Pete right there. He's got the StreamYard. Go ahead, copy that, put that into your URL, become part of this incredible show.
Yeah.
I mean, incredible show. And of course, Tim, good morning. Glad to have Mr. Santos with us. Right?
Good morning, Tim.
Of course, we are, hey, look at who just jumped in studio.
Morning, guys.
There he is. Welcome
Hey,
in.
good morning. Slagle is here, but he is remote.
That's it. A shout out to our good friends over at Natural Therapy Wellness Center, 815-891-029. I don't know what it is.
That'll be the one episode John watches
some
too.
Mornings I always remember it. 815-0891 is what it is. 385. There it is. 815-385-0891. Call them for a massage. If you're stressed, they'll help you be blessed. Check them out at www.mchenrymassage.com. And our good friends over at JH Events and Flowers. We absolutely love them. $5 Friday today. Go get $5 bouquet for the one you love, or perhaps the one you don't.
Or the one that's mad at you.
Or the one that's mad at you, perhaps. and go get that. Like, share, subscribe. We'll run a commercial here after a little while. Steve, good to see you. Haven't seen you for a couple weeks, buddy.
Yeah, been out. Last week, my mom graduated the CASA program, so that was cool. Unfortunately, at the same time as the program, so I was doing that.
That's way more important.
That's way more.
We love you to death, but that's way more important, man. CASA does some wonderful work, man.
Yeah.
No, and she was really excited. I was happy for CASA. That was the largest graduating class they've ever had. So
awesome.
More CASAs right now than ever.
A lot of CASA. Not
yeah.
That's it.
I want to make you guys bigger. The background looks fantastic, by the way. You got to say.
Hey,
thank
you. You know what?
I painted it myself.
Yeah. Who's in here airbrushing it?
I got to take a little credit somewhere.
That's a big shout out to Cappuccino and Nico. These guys have put a lot of time, money, effort, passion into this place, and this studio just keeps getting better.
One show we should actually probably take a nice little video walk around showing how awesome it is over here. This studio, guys, is so unassuming from the outside. You look at just a brown doo-doo brick building, you get in here, it's just like wow. It's like it's a totally different world.
Yeah.
So, and that's because of you guys. That's why we have it.
You've been gone a couple weeks. There's been some changes. So next time you're here, Steve, you'll be like, oh.
Yeah, we actually have a heat in the toilet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, don't worry. Sam's going to grab a car today. So I'll have my car next week.
Nothing worse than buying a car from a dealer.
That's very true.
That's nothing. You're right. No, it's nothing worse than buying a car when you have to do it, right?
Yeah.
Like it's just, you got to do it no matter what. So you're stressed out trying to pick it out, make the quick decision. Then after you buy it, you're like, I should have waited. I should have slowed down, because you get a little irrational sometimes. Yeah. So if you need help, is she already picked out her car?
Yeah, she's going to grab her dad's car.
Oh, nice. Then she doesn't have to worry about the dealer then.
Yeah, her dad's going to go grab a new car.
It's a good experience. All right, so today, I'm glad that you're here, Steve, because we're going to talk about just the tip.
I see that. I'm curious.
Have you say that?
Normally, I don't click on things that say that in my web browser, but this morning I thought, I'm going to take a chance. It's because I knew Scott was there.
Here's the deal. Here's the honest to God deal. And Cappuccino brought this up. I wish he might jump in, but he's got a busy morning. But everywhere you go now, it doesn't matter, right? I go to get a coffee. I'm standing in line, or I order online in my app, and it says, "Do you want to leave a tip?"
Oh, yeah.
18%, 20%, 25% other. And I'm like, for what? Are you giving me? I've done everything. Are you giving me that tip? Right? I've literally done everything. You've done nothing. Everywhere you go. And it's so awkward for the people. They turn the thing around like, it's going to ask you a question.
Yeah, right.
You mean you can't say, hey, you want to give me a tip
Right.
for standing here making $15 to $25 an hour?
When they're really not. I mean, they're doing exactly their job. It's not like
So
server.
my favorite was the other day we walk into a prominent cookie shop in town. Okay. You go up to a kiosk, you put together your box of cookies and you order it on a kiosk. And then you go up to a counter and you tap your card and then somebody slides your box over to you and you walk out. It asks you at the kiosk, at the self-serve kiosk, it says, do you want a tip? I'm like, who am I tipping? It's a self-serve kiosk. Who am I tipping? I'm serving myself right now.
You're tipping the company, which is crazy, right? Because the workers probably don't get it. But you know what tip stands for, right? Steve, I mean, you've been in the bar industry for a long time, so you know what tip stands for, correct?
I mean, I know of it as a gratuity. What are you referring to?
It actually started out as tips to ensure prompt service. So the idea behind a tip,
so it's really TPS.
No, to ensure prompt service. Tips.
Ensure, okay.
So when the whole idea behind it, and I've done this, it actually works wonderfully. Not in the situation you're talking about. That's bullshit, right? Like, just give me free money. But like, if you go into a bar, right? You sit down at a busy bar. If you sit down and that bartender comes down, you order your drink and you give them like a 20 right away and say, this is for you for tonight. You are going to get looked at much quicker than the guy standing down there waving $2 at not giving tips or $1 tip every time. You're ensuring prompter service. They're going to want to wait on you quicker because they know that you're going to flow money to them, right? And they're going to take care of you. So this idea of tipping at a kiosk
at
is
everything.
Really, it is everything. It's like, well, why am I tipping you? Because the tip is one, to have them help you out and to take care of you and recognize you. Not because they stood there and said, here's your cookies.
Right. I mean, that's what's making society crumble.
Like what you did there.
Did not know meant that. Thanks.
To ensure prompt service.
And that's where we need the little NBC thing go up behind us now. The more you know.
Well, the more you know doesn't mean you're going to use it.
Well, and right now, as we speak, the situation is in front of the Supreme Court in Springfield, where they are trying to pass they're not trying to pass anything new. What they are is they're going to be enforcing minimum server wage, where you can no longer make gratuities make up the difference of the wages for your servers. And that's in front of the Supreme Court right now in Illinois.
What's your feel on that?
So it's always been a thing. I've only worked, surprisingly, I worked at a biker bar years ago, and the guy who owned it owned a series of businesses, and his lawyer ran the bar. So it was surprisingly the only bar I've ever seen run 100% the way it should be. And he did everything that he was supposed to. Every other bar I've ever worked has never done the splitting the difference. If I work a dead shift, I've made no money because I'm a server. But that guy paid me the difference between state minimum and server minimum on a dead shift. It's a weird thing, but it makes a huge difference to a server. Now, nobody else has ever done it. Nobody else has ever complained. There's a reason servers and bartenders don't complain that nobody does that. It's just part of the job traditionally. Now they're saying they're going to start fining people $2,500 a day who don't do that, who don't make up the difference of state minimum, which I don't know what it is right now. I want to say 15.
So if the server is if the server is only making $10 an hour, the bar owner or whatever will pick up the extra $5 per hour through the tips. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so server minimum was it's changed, but it's usually a lot lower, like $8 when state minimum would be 15. So if you work a shift and you have 0 tips, 0 customers, they are supposed to pay you the difference to state minimum because you're still working. But if you get tipped, they don't have to pay you that difference. That's why there is a server minimum. They're trying to do away with all that right now and then enforce the penalties. The enforced penalties on that are going to be a lot harsher.
Oh, well, we got to find another way to grab some of your cash, huh? Well, interesting to follow that one. Definitely.
So Tim says, so no tax on tips. Won't matter because they're going to be taxing the increased minimum wages. Very, very clever. Very clever. If y'all are like me, most of you aren't. If you're all like me, right, and thank God for that, or whoever you believe.
Unlucky them, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
When this question comes up, it's always a conscious battle in my brain. Do I tip? Should I tip? How much should I tip? I mean, I was really just standing here. Is $1 not enough on a $2 or $3 to $8 coffee? I go into this whole conscious battle in my brain.
Right.
Am I being a dick if I don't tip right now? Are they expecting this tip?
Which really sucks, right?
I go through this whole diet every time.
Right.
Every time. And now I have to get my calculator out because now it doesn't even give you 15%. It goes right to 18% as the lowest one. Right. And it's a whole psychological thing that I'm just going to hit the lowest one.
Right.
18. Because I, like most Americans, not me, very good at math, aren't good at math and go, I don't know what 10% of $10 is.
13 cents.
You know, you know what I mean? So people, that's why when you go to Kohl's, they have, hey, 75% off this dollar amount is this, because they were just tired of people saying, how much is 75% of 100? Oh, right. So this is what bothers me about the whole tip thing. Not that necessarily, but now you're making me think. You're
So you don't want to tip.
Putting me through a conscious, and now as I walk out and I didn't tip, am I going to get karma served to me? Is what I'm saying. I'm like, oh shit, they were really.
You've been programmed. The way you're talking have been programmed, right? So, I tip very well when it's required. I don't want to say required. I can't think of the proper word. But I go to dinner. I go to a bar. Right. Their job is to serve me, to give good service. Right. The person at, I'm going to say whatever you were talking about. Right. Especially at a kiosk. There's no way in hell that I'm tipping because they're doing their job. Right. And it's not like they're going out of your way. Tips are to basically help that person come out of your way and to show a little bit of gratitude. Well, graciousness at the end for people. But if you do it what it was originally meant for, it's up front to make sure that your experience is nice. Right. And that you're having a good time. So for me, I don't even think about that. When I walk into, whatever place and it says, do you want a tip? And I bought 5. It's like, no. You're doing, you rang me up. You gave me my food. I mean, you're doing the job that we are paying you these days quite handsomely for, in my opinion, on some of these, right? So for me, time and place, but I don't run through that. I do when I go to a restaurant, though.
So
I don't go through that whole calculation because I don't think somebody like that at a fast food, not at a fast food, but something like that really deserves a tip unless they're coming out, walking your food, serving your, wiping your table. That's not what a tip is for why I give tips.
Just the tip.
And I started
it depends to me on what the level is that they have of service that they do have to perform. Obviously, that does factor into it. The way Scott talks about doing it is really the only way that'll affect anything in the situation. You tip up front. It's the only time you're ever going to affect the situation with your tip. If you go to the same place regularly and you don't tip, people will remember. But if you go someplace once, you don't tip. Nobody's gonna know. If I go out to a bar and I tip up front, or if I go to a wedding, that's where you really want to do it. You go to a wedding, you tip up front. That bartender's gonna get you taken care of. Scott's not wrong. I mean, that is the way to do it. But fun fact, and this has been a study that's been done over many years. If you are a horrible server or a good server, mediocre, you could be having a great day. You could be having a horrible, shitty day. Doesn't matter. If you come across a 20% tipper, they aren't going to vary more than 2% up or down. And that's statistically averaged over all people. But traditionally, they're not, and I know it's true for me, because if I get horrible service someplace, my first thought is this person might be having a bad day. I'm still going to tip 20%. Other people do that. Everybody does that in their heads. So if you are a 15% tipper, you're just a 15% tipper. You might be like, that guy was outstanding. I'm going to throw an extra $1 in, because in your mind, that makes a difference. probably doesn't, but it's the mental calculation that you're talking about, Kent. I do it every time. I'm playing mental chess every time I go a place. Like, how many times do I come here? Are they going to remember my tip? How much work did they really do? I know for a fact when I get my hair cut, they've typed into the system that I tip the bill. And I know that because they're always fighting over who gets to take me to the chair. I like that, but I know that they put that in the system. So it's like, but again, you're right. You do have to think about it. It's like a lot more thought than it should be strictly necessary. I guess I've never thought about that before.
And those people know coming in, they go, this guy is, he's a real person. He's going to take care of us. I'm going to give him good service. He's going to take care of me. He pays me for my profession, right?
They're like, oh, look, this idiot gave me $20 right off the bat.
Right. And the thing that's feeling is kind of have been programmed. You almost feel bad. You can see it, like the anguish in people. They almost feel bad if they don't give the kid at, that retail place you're talking about a small tip because it asked for it. Just because something asks for it doesn't mean you have to do it. But the guilt gets laid into you by going, ooh, should I? You said the person behind me may be looking at me. It's 18%. What is it? It's like, they put you in a really bad spot to where it's just like, oh, screw it. I'm going to do it. Well, for me, you have to earn that, right? And so I'm not going to just give away my money. I work hard for it. I want to make sure that the people that are helping me, you do
the funniest thing I ever heard. He says he works hard.
Yeah, they get taken care of and that they get rewarded for their good service. That's what they're there for. But I'm not going to reward you for simply sliding me a box or a bag across the counter. I'm sorry.
So Shayna says society seems to have shifted to an idea compliance without making making things make sense. If I'm not sitting, I'm not tipping. Big tipping, right? Well, and I love what Tim says. I'm surprised the gas station pumps haven't added a 14th question.
It's coming, dude. They're listening now. That's going to be the new thing. Tim, you should actually try and see if you can figure that one out.
It's so true. It's like,
would you like to round up?
Yeah. I love the ones. Everyone's like, "Do you want a car wash?" I go, "I don't even see a car wash here."
Right? Yeah. Oh, it's only 2 miles down the way. I fell for that a few times in my life. Car wash? Oh, sure. Where is it? Oh, it's in the next town over.
Yeah. Is it still twice? So when it comes to tipping, right? I do have this inner monologue battle every time, and depending on who I'm with, if I'm with Alice, I'm not a percentage tipper at all. I'm a dollar amount, right? I don't know, give them $10. $10, my wife was.
The bill was only $7.
I have gone places depending on the day and my attitude where I bought a $3, bought a $3 cup of coffee, threw $2 at you know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
so that's interesting because with coffee, I'm okay with the keep the change tip, but I'm not okay handing somebody physical change. Like that makes me uncomfortable. But if I hand somebody and I know that they get to keep the change, throw it in their tip jar, I'm okay being like, you can keep the change. But I'm not going to hand somebody like $1.50 and be like, this is for you. Like that's embarrassing to me. Like, and if I'm at a coffee shop, they're making the coffee, that's one thing. But if I'm with Shane, if I'm sitting down, I'm immediately, and I don't care, it could be a $5 beer. I'm tipping $5. I'm taking your time. I'm taking a seat at a place where somebody else could be taking the seat. And I don't know how long I'm going to sit there. So minimum $5, and then I'm going to go from there.
Yeah, but now when you're sitting, you go someplace, and so I took the basketball team out a couple of times, and you go someplace, and you have more than 5 people. The instant gratuities put on the bill.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Going to treat you like shit anyway, but you're going to pay
right
anyway. Right. It's a 8-person at this table. It's a $10 gratuity added to it or whatever.
Right.
They'll call it a percentage, and I'm like,
I remember the first time I saw that. I'm like, so I have to give you money. What if you suck? I mean, like Steve was saying earlier. I mean, even if the server does suck, we'll generally tip them 20, unless they're just absolutely just horrendous, like you never see them. I'll still give them 20% because you don't know what's going on in their day. They could
and so with that I am torn because one, the enforced shouldn't be a thing, but with parties like that, from the other side, if I have a 10-person party going on, I have one server, I'm pulling them off of their tables. They're working that party. That's their party. Everybody, that's your group. Maybe you got one other table. If that table doesn't tip, right? If they stiffer, that's her whole night gone. That's her entire shift gone. So the enforced 18%, I've always used it as a general guideline. Like I can, so please tip, but I will enforce it if somebody tries to stiff. I mean, I feel like that's kind of fair at that point.
I get the policy, but I mean, and I get it because, if they are serving a 10-person table, they're going to lose out on other people, right? But I think sometimes that it's just implied that you have to give it up front. And it's like, sometimes I feel that they're not into it because they know they're already getting tipped, right? They're not working that extra mile. You're in customer service, good day, bad day, whatever. When you get on stage, when you're working, you're on stage, right? You have to kind of bring on your different personality, if you will, or put on your different mask. And, for me, I've seen a lot of times you give them that up front and it's just kind of like,
well, yeah, and a lot of times, what Tim says is very true.
100%.
It's divided up between the bar backs, the host, the bus boys, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right?
Yep.
So even if your server wasn't the best, you got to consider,
right,
everybody in the back that's depending on that too. Right. Auto gratuity is the direct result of the senior citizen mobs with 17 separate checks.
Thank you, Shayna. That is 100%.
Yeah.
There's a lot of reasons why that auto gratuity came into effect on large tables. Like it didn't just happen one day where they're like, we're just going to screw big groups of people that act nicely and keep to themselves. Like that's
a lot of that stuff totally makes sense. What you're talking about, it doesn't. Right.
Kent took his team out, and I'm sure they were very respectful ladies. I'm sure they all acted with their best manners. I'm sure that's not the group that the rule was designed for.
Let's see. When the chip salsa and ranch came out, the ranch was immediately dumped all over the table. That wasn't from the server. He was great, right? And I'm just saying, oh my God. There we go.
Was the server good looking or something? They got all nervous and knocked it over.
They just fumbled stickers.
Yeah.
It was bad.
Well, and to Tim, to Tim's point, like this, it is part of our, like none of us, I don't think anybody commenting or anybody here now is a dick. I mean, we all treat people with respect and common courtesy. We go out, we don't stiff our servers. I mean, we treat people with, like I said, common courtesy. So I think the real issue is it's not the server's fault, right? Should businesses be allowing, and I know other bars in town are they're taking tips, they're pooling them into a big pool, and now they're splitting them. So barbacks, bartenders, hostesses, and now the cooks, everybody gets a split of the tip out for the night. So, and that's how they're paying their employees. And it's like, well, that's not on the customer, and it's not on the person who served your food. So now we've got nobody at fault in the equation, but a third party who's at fault now of creating the situation, which would be the owner or whoever created that system.
Now what I do is I pull up Chat GPT and I'm just like, Chat GPT, I'm at X coffee shop or at X whatever, and I'm in the drive-through. Am I supposed to tip? No.
Oh God.
So
I was over. I'm like, I guess I really don't know Kent very well.
Right? I mean, so
you had me going there totally.
I was like, where's he going with this?
Yeah, you're right. So Drew is asking, and welcome in, Cap, is do you tip at Subway or Potbelly?
So this comes to Kent's point. Comes to Kent's point, which is I feel awkward not. So when they flip that thing around on me and they don't give me the 15%, I do feel it inside because I'm still tipping because I feel weird not. Don't ask me then. Don't ask me. A personal kiosk where there's nobody in front of me looking at my tip, no, you're not getting a tip. But like when they flip it around and they're looking at you and they're like, what do you think? You want to sign this? It's going to ask you a couple of questions. And it's like, the questions it's going to ask me. You just say it. Don't tell me it's going to ask you a couple. No, it's asking, do I want to tip you? And then you're staring in my face. Like, of course I'm going to tip you. Like, this is awkward now. You've made it awkward. Now I'm not getting a Potbelly again.
Drew's question is an interesting one, right? So because those people actually make that food in front of you, right? So they are performing a service that they're getting paid for, but how they perform it, that one is on a line, right? If the person just throws it together, doesn't care, and not charismatic or whatever. I mean, for me, it's almost like putting on a show. You watch some of these people, like when you watch people making pizza and stuff, but when they're doing that, so depending on their attitude, right, and depending on they make it, I don't want to say a pretty sandwich, but a good sandwich, because some people, no matter how easy and routine it is to make it, still make a horrible sandwich. You know what I mean? And so the presentation, so from time to time I will, but I don't and will never ever feel compelled to tip just to tip.
Yeah.
There has to be drawn out. You have to, earn that tip, right? Other than when I come into like a bar type of thing, to where the reason it really started.
So let's stop right there. So Drew says if I'm standing, I'm not tipping unless it's a bartender. Okay, so my question is this. I go up to the bar. Let me just belly up to the bar. And I go, hey, barkeep, give me a shot of whiskey and Jameson, right?
Isn't that the same?
I don't know. Right? And so you hit the shot. Plop, plop. He slides it out in front of me, and I lay down, keep the change, whatever, right? So why is that different from me walking up and go, hey, Mr. Sandwich Maker, I need the All-American Club Sub?
Because you're most likely going to buy more than one drink at that place, and you are going to have to fight through other people to get that drink in a timely manner. If it's a busy bar, right? If it's just a dive,
people don't tip until after.
No, they don't, and it's a culture thing. Baristas get screwed more than anybody because there are more steps to their cocktails than there are to most bar cocktails, and they are never going to make the money a bartender makes. And they have to do the same work, and they do it in front of you. I mean, and they have to do it early in the morning. Like they are some of the most ridiculously screwed people in the industry. And the sandwich makers, same thing. Like if you're going to tip somebody for pouring a shots, by the way, the shots and bottle beer are like the biggest exploit in the bar industry because people are drunk, they are happy, and they are tipping all night as though I made an 8-step cocktail. And I did not. I poured a shot. If you don't tip me on a shot, I am not offended. But people do all night, and it is amazing that but again, why is that fair? Why is that fair? The guy who just made the sandwich stood there. He's by himself. There's a line of like 30 people, and he just stood and made my sandwich and listened to me ask him to take the pickles off of it. Like he deserved that tip too.
Correct.
Well, each situation is a little
artist most times.
Each situation is different, but their whole reason behind tips, though, was it started out as that whole thing with the service, because think about back in the day, we didn't have all these fast food and quick things to walk in. It was a sit down place. Sat down, so that's where it started. It wasn't today where everything was fast paced, run in, run out, grab your stuff, right? That was back then where you sat down. It was an experience, right? You sat down, you had your appetizer, meal, if you're going to dinner, right, dessert. It's a whole process, not walk in, give me a cupcake and give you a 50-cent tip on a $1 order. I did back. It's just not, I just don't feel it's needed. It's lost its original idea behind taking care of yourself. Shayna's am I the asshole? If everyone had that level of self-awareness walking into an establishment, the world would be a utopia. No, that level of forethought to even just consider how you're acting and then let the server know, like you're fine. Like anytime you're fine. The server's going to appreciate that. Yeah. The server's going to appreciate that, and usually because then they're going to know what you expect, right? If you're going to be there a long time, they're not going to expect you necessarily to be on them every minute. Need anything? Because
that's the best thing you can do. If you're like, hey, we're going to chill for probably 3 hours, like we'll call you, and it's like, cool, awesome. I will see you when you call me over to your table. That is amazing. I can focus on everybody else. Thank you for letting me do my job accordingly.
So Drew, absolutely right here, right, is, the bigger the tip, the bigger the tip, the more pickles.
So that culture is dying, though. That culture is out.
Get a little extra lettuce.
Right. But Drew's statement is actually wrong in some respects.
No, because like Scott, I know as a guy who's involved in a bar, he's fighting this every day, tooth and nail. Pours are pours. You pay for the pour, you get the pour. Anything other than that is stealing. It's theft. It's theft of the business. You over pour because somebody tipped you. You just poured a product that did not belong to you for money that did go to your pocket. Like you just stole.
Let me help you. Let me help you with Drew. Drew spends, I don't know, probably 20 of the 24 hours a day in a bar. He doesn't. I don't even know the last time he's at a bar. Oh, was it Man Camp? Was it at the Broad Stop?
Maybe.
Yeah, that might have been the last time he's been at a bar. But anyway,
send us a check, Broad Stop.
Yeah, but when I have, he's not wrong. When I've owned a bar and I've been behind said bar, absolutely. I mean, depending on how the night's going, I'm pouring heavier, lighter. You know, it's a different thing. But
I do like what Shannon brings up. I mean, a lot of us have daily routines, daily stops, things like that, and these, we are very broke as a society, but we always find time for a $12 cappuccino, mochaccino, waccino thing, frozen, right?
Yeah, I get.
And if it's a daily stop, now these people become known and make a difference in your day.
Potentially, yeah.
Every day, and is it the same? Oh, here comes Scott, gonna get the $12 cappuccino, and he's gonna give me $1. Love this guy though. Funny
so
yeah,
that could let's just say it's a coffee shop, right? And it's a busy coffee shop, but they know you walk in and they make it right away. You walk in, and so as soon as you get there, they plop it down. You don't even have to wait, so it saves you time. How much is that time worth to you?
Everybody who's just tuning in, if you're hearing Scott say plop it down, and the title of this is just the tip, he's really talking about cash at this point.
Why are
he though?
Make the show interesting. I thought the show was supposed to be interesting.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
Scott walks into a room, he plops it down. Everyone knows he means business.
He is here.
I've arrived. Arms spread wide.
I need a drink.
But no, and I will tell it isn't all about the money. Sorry, yeah, did I lose you guys?
You're back.
There was a glitch in the matrix.
Oh, okay. No, it's not all about the money, because I have had the customers where it's like, and part of being good at or taking pride in your work as a server or bartender, anybody in the service industry, you do know your customers. I had a woman who would come in, and every time I saw her, I was like, oh, she's about to pay for one beer in quarters. I'm getting no tip, and then she's going to try to put $5 in the gambling machine. She's going to lose it all, and then she's going to ask me for a free beer. And I know this is what's going to happen. But I also know that's like her entire day every day, and I feel bad. So like I'm going to do it with a smile on my face. I'm going to have that beer waiting when she walks in. I'm going to tell her, don't bother with your quarters and pennies today. I've got your beer. This is on me. Have a great day. And that's just, it's like one of those things that you do. And you do have regulars like that, just like you have the regulars that are going to sit down, and it's like, this guy's going to tip me $100 tonight. So I'm golden.
I had a nice milk stout yesterday over at Holzlager.
Yeah.
It was very good. Nitrogen injected.
You had which one?
It was the Moustache.
Ooh, yeah.
Milk stout. Nitrogen infused.
That sounds delicious. Milk and beer.
It was
my mouth is watering right now. I think I'm going to puke.
Drew says, do you tip your mechanic or the person at the DMV?
Hell no.
Why not?
The mechanic, different story. DMV person.
Why not?
Why?
And the answer is yes. The tip is built into the price of your mechanic. And the DMV, they get paid a salary to work there.
Yeah. Hey, that's great, right? Hey, thanks for renewing your driver's license. This is just going to ask you a couple questions.
You guys.
I would love for them to ask me to tip at the DMV just so I could blatantly look them in the eye and hit no. I would love for that to be an interaction I was allowed to have with them.
Yeah, they're digital now. It's hard to roll.
Yeah.
Says,
that's a good question.
Shana says, I know people who way overpay for haircuts and such. They pay for way more than the cut. social cred, gossip, therapy. People aren't always aware of what people appreciate, intangibles. I can tell you this, for 26 years, I have not overpaid for a haircut. But you know, the big thing now, right? Because I've got daughters and a basketball team full of women, is nails.
That's why he shaves his head. That's why he shaves his head. It saves on one haircut a month.
Is getting the nails done, getting these press-on naily things.
Yeah.
You know, oh, you got boyfriend? You know, and you get, you get all prettied up. I mean, and
what's going on this morning? I don't even know.
He was spending $40 or $50.
He's in front of the camera now.
You know, and now all of a sudden, hey, you know, hey, to everybody out there, Shayna, Don, Tim, you know, the 32 months, we offer a service of having you recognize how sane your life is. Send the tips.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, you guys can actually click. Yeah, we can clip. We'll start a GoFundMe. We're
oh no.
Information. They should really love us.
Just the tip.
Just the tip. That's
just send that in. We'll set up a Venmo. We'll start running it across the bottom of the screen here.
We should do
like that. A ticker tape.
Having a good time? Send a tip.
We'll send 10% somewhere that's not here in the United States. You know what, dude? We'd probably get some. Somebody be watching for hours and be like, "Oh, I got to send them money." They're really good people. We look in the account the next day. There's $1,000. They'd be like, "Hey, what? Let's go buy some coffee."
Hey, like the program, you see. We're just gonna ask you a couple questions.
Yeah, don't even like and share it. Just send us a tip.
Send us cash.
So Shayna said something that was interesting. I liked was that people they overpay for all of these things, and that is before I forget, I wanted to say that about the tipping situation, which is a lot of people are like, well, I shouldn't have to, everything's so expensive, I shouldn't have to tip. And it's like, well, you are right conceptually. You shouldn't have to, but that is the world we live in. And if you don't tip, don't go out to eat. And that's how if at least right now in the culture, like, and where you can, you know, save that money and then use it to tip. Like for specifically with haircuts, I get my haircut, it's $20. It's been $20 since I was old enough to go to the place and get my haircut by myself, right? I could go to the barber shop and they could do the shave and the whole 9 yards with the $50 haircut, but then I wouldn't be able to tip them $20. I go and get my haircut, I pay them $20, I tip them $20. I've been doing that every time I've gotten my haircut my entire life. And if I get a more expensive haircut, I don't get to do that. So I budget $40 is what my haircut costs. And I budget that ahead of time.
He's 100% tipper. No wonder they fight over you.
Giving them the whole tip.
Right. Yeah. Not just the tip. You're giving them the whole freaking shoot and shebang.
That's right.
Oh yeah.
So think about it. I mean, obviously you're very happy with it. You keep going back to the place, servicing you right. You're willing to spend that money.
No, it's a different person every time. It's a great clips.
Right, but they're doing you right. If the
it's okay.
Horrible haircut, you're still going to give them $20.
Yeah. Yeah, I did. The one time she it was bad. It was bad. She was new or something. I don't know. I walked out of there looking like a poodle went through like a garbage disposal. I don't know what the hell happened. And I gave her $20. I said, good luck. Because honestly, if anybody needs that $20, it's her. She's not going to be employed long.
That's right. I always tell people, I'm like,
you look deeper into that one for sure.
I'll give you a haircut. If you don't like it, you don't have to pay for it. That's what I say.
I don't like that deal. I don't like the way you said it. I don't like anything about it.
Bob, good morning. Welcome in, my friend. Says, I met my wife when she was working at the Dog and Sets back in 1957. I tipped 100%, and we've been together ever since. Best tip I ever made, and probably the best never.
No, yeah, I was going to say, you better stay right there. I saw that one. Dad, you know what he's thinking, but I'm glad you didn't speak.
So, and that's probably what, I mean, you're tipping 100%.
You want to hear the better thing about it? What he ordered? Do you want to tell him, Dad, or do you want me
You
to?
got the foot long coney
No,
dog.
no, I'll give him a second to see if he wants to tell him what he ordered and how he ordered it and how he met her. Because my dad is like smooth. He's like he was Casanova back then.
Yeah, so I feel as service is underpriced, I will give what I call karma coverage. I don't like feeling like I took it. Yeah, that is a battle that I have all the time, right? And even if I'm standing in line, if that person has got just a killer attitude and talks to me and seems to be enjoying the day, I'll always tip. I'll give them something like, bang, here's a couple bucks, you know.
That's the experience.
Because I'm like, you're really having a good day, and keep
when they made your
day.
and they're making
Thank
your
you
day
for
better.
That. Yeah, it's that karma, giving back that energy to me. And you know, when I take a look at that, it doesn't matter where I'm at. You know, like, oh man, hey, nice work. But I also have been at the Trio in McHenry, and you know, you go and you buy a Red Bull or whatever, a little soda and something, and then because they sell food there, hey, we're gonna ask you a question: do you want a tip? You know, because it doesn't know that you're just buying a candy bar. You know,
but that's
the way the POS is set up.
So the person that you're talking about, right? Even if it is just a coffee or a cupcake or whatever, it's not a bartender or, you know, sitting down at dinner. That is something is definitely a case by case basis, right? That person's energetic. It's making you feel good. They're enjoying their job. It's a good energy, right? You're like, it's a good environment to be in. It makes you feel good. For me, then it's like, yeah, I'll just round up the change, that, you know, type of thing, whatever. But I mean, it's not.
Oh yeah,
I don't feel required to.
Your bill, sir, is $10.89. Yeah, just go 11.
Yes.
Let me just round that up.
Well, it's used if it's a dime or more, I feel gracious. So I mean, let's be real here. But you know what I mean? If they're really doing their job and doing their job well, because customer service is just that, making you feel welcome, making you feel invited, and making, you know, thanking you for being there because they have a job. Scott, because of you.
You can tell the story.
I'm not sure if I remember, but basically, long story short, my dad didn't have a pot to pee in. Went up to the drive-in where my mom's working.
Was she on roller skates?
Yeah. He went up to the boss and told him, "Look, I only have whatever it was, a small amount of money. I can't really afford a sandwich, but I want to meet this lady. Right? Can I order just a bun?" And the guy thought he was crazy, and he let him do it, and he ordered just a bun. Just a bun or bun and pickles, I don't remember. And she brought it, and it was whatever, 5 cents. And, you know, he gave her 10 cents. And, you know, holy shit, you know. And it was just so funny when he told me, I'm like, that's not true. And Mom's like, yeah.
What were you driving at that time?
Like a 50 Chevy, I think it was. I think, Dad, pop in if you can. I'd be interested. But it was just,
maybe it wasn't the tip, it was the car.
Maybe it was just his suave bola attitude.
Shayna says, I vote hard with cash. Make my day better, and I want to celebrate my hope for humanity. More, please. Yeah, I'm a cash too, because if it's on the card, I don't ever know if they get it. I don't know how that works, right? I'm not in that industry. Do they only get a
even if you put it in the jar?
But if I hand them cash, like
Well, and no matter what, I mean, at the end of the day, you hand somebody cash, whether they get their full tip or partial tip, or they're splitting it or whatever, it's still getting taxed if it's on a card. I mean, if it's getting tracked, it's getting taxed. And if you hand somebody cash, they can put it in their pocket and they can go buy a coffee or something and not have to worry about all that.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, you know,
that's why they're trying to get rid of cash.
You know, it goes back to a psychological battle for me in my own head, right? And you know, it's just like, all right, do I not? What kind of karma is going to throw back at me? You know, does the tip make this person's day? Are they having a bad day and the tip makes this person? These are the questions that roll through my head. 1957 Chevy.
No, 50 Chevy, glass of water and a hamburger. Yeah. With bun with seeds for 5 cents and 5 cents tip.
A glass of water, hamburger bun with seeds for 5 cents.
See what
5 cent tip.
Crafty, right? He can't really order a meal, right? So, but I thought about that. I'm like, that's awesome.
He ordered a meal.
She's
been with him ever since.
She's got such a dish. My mom is just the most wonderful person. I mean, he lucked out. You know what I mean? They're a really good fit together. And I mean, think about that one.
And all these years later, on the anniversary of that, she gives him a seeded bun and a glass of water.
Man, she probably should. Oh my God, I think I need to start a tradition.
That's it.
I'm gonna just ship it to Mom. Oh, Bob, I'll send him a whole thing of Rosen's buns,
That's right.
with the
That's
seeds
right.
on top.
Get a seeded bun and then cast it in bronze, hang it on the wall.
Oh, dude, I love that idea. Close your ears.
So for me, I don't have. I'm not like laying on a bed of cash, right? I'm not that guy who has. Hey, we live month to month, right?
You're typical American.
I'm not very far from a typical American.
No, you are.
But yeah. Yeah, Scott, make sure you tip the producer today.
Yeah.
That's right.
I'm ensuring my prompt service.
That's right. But I don't.
I love you, Drew.
It's not about necessarily the money or whatever the case may be. But a lot of what I tip is how is that to be received by that person?
Yeah.
Right. And does this tip make them happy, right? So it's like, 18%. Well, you chose that because it's the lowest one on there, that's why I usually just do dollar amounts, right? Or cash or whatever. Be like, hey, here you go, right? Here's $25, whatever, and people look at me like, wow, that was a big tip. I go, I don't know. It's what I had, cash. This is good. I got a $7 drink, but I gave him $5 because that's what I had. Because I hate going, hey, Steve, here's $5. Can you give me back $3? So,
right.
Gave the rest, right? I understand that it was a $7 drink and I gave a $5 tip. That is what I had, right? But how did that make Steve feel? Oh, hopefully that made his day. And he tells
you got
me,
that
this crazy fucker came in.
You got that new, So you got a new $12 bill, is what you're saying?
Right.
Yeah, you didn't, because a 10 would have been good.
Right. So Sally's probably like, I don't know, this crazy guy bought a bun and a glass of water and gave me a nickel. Got a nickel tip.
Gave me 100% tip.
This man.
I didn't even talk to him.
Right. Server tip 101, never get back large bills.
Yeah.
That's right. All singles.
Yeah, they're new when they give you no singles.
Yeah. Yeah, Shana says I'm just responding to Pavlovian signals and programming. $5, so I don't have to think about it. That's that's
well. It's funny because she says the programming, and
right.
A lot of us have been programmed to be like, oh, we have to do that, or I'm going to feel bad about myself. You shouldn't. Work hard for your money. It should be distributed when you see fit and for the reasons it's like.
Well, and as long as we are compensating people at state minimum wage at the very least when they're not being tipped, that's fine. But because there is also the equation. Like, yes, I am frustrated with people spinning that thing around on me all the time. But if the person I'm talking to is making $5 an hour because they're expecting to get tipped, I don't even feel like it's an option at that point, because then I know I'm paying their living wage, and is that fair? No, but it's also not their fault. And I think a lot of that is owners putting the server in a weird position to get tipped.
I don't know.
And the more people that do tip, and then the more wages they take away because of those tips, the more you're obligated to tip. It's a nasty cycle.
I'd be interested to know how many people actually realize how little servers make, right? And how they actually survive. I mean, my wife was a server for, I think, 13 or 14 years, maybe even longer, and I didn't realize it. I just assumed they paid them an hourly wage. And then if I gave them a little extra something, that was great, right? Bonus, and then my wife's like, because I was a cheap son of a bitch. Well, I didn't have money way back when, but then when she explained it to me, and I'm like, oh, it makes sense. They're what was it? $2.25 an hour.
So how many of you sit with your 10-year-old and explain tips? Right? We don't teach our kids.
I know my kid Zachary, and we did Zachary. I don't think we did with Carolyn because Deidre was serving, right? And so Mom would come home all the time with a stack of cash and coins. Why do you have all this money, Mommy? And he'd help her count it, and she's explained it. I give people food, and if mommy gives good service, they give me a tip or a bonus, right? To thank me for doing that, because I don't make much per hour. Trying to explain to them you get paid for every hour was a little bit different, but yeah. So we're not the common household by any means.
You explained
right?
what that cash
What,
was. You
right,
didn't
but
tell him how to.
No, but we did explain to it. But mommy does a job. She brings out food, and they eat the food. And if mom does a good job and is prompt and nice and so on and so forth, they tip her, give her extra money for doing a good job.
Well, yeah, but that's not telling them how much to tip.
Percentage-wise. No, okay,
right.
got yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Like,
At that young, it's a little tough, right?
Whoa, hey, my mom used to get this. Here's the extra quarter.
Here's the extra quarter, right? Yeah,
right.
Yeah, as far as percent, yeah. When they get older, then
what it was, but
right.
But now he goes, oh, that's good. I will give them $1,000.
Right. Yeah. How to calculate it?
The best night I ever saw was my mom count $1,000. Great service. Here's $1,000 for my bagel.
Well, that would be you.
Huh? You know what I mean?
Right.
We're thrown out there, right? And that's where the psychological battle comes in. It's like, nobody ever really told me what are the guidelines for tipping. It used to be 10%, and then it went to 12, 15, and now 18 is the lowest on there. If I give them 10 or 15, am I screwing them up? Oh my God!
Well, you're bringing up an even better point. Right? Or something you can expound upon. You're talking about people not explaining to me just how to tip, right?
Yeah.
How about let's just go even a step further? How about let's really teach our kids about money and how money works and how to use it?
Bill Hussey wrote a book.
Yeah, whatever. Bill, I hope it's a good book. I can't wait to read it because you didn't send me one, so I'll send you the cash. But seriously, right? I'm like, something as simple as teaching your kid what a tip is. Okay, great. That's understandable. This is how to spend your money. How about how to save your money? How about how to make your money grow, regardless of what you make, right? So,
what is money?
Money is a tool. Money is
make believe. We don't even see it.
Oh, well,
it's not backed by anything. It's just like, hey, Steve,
it's a construct.
It's a contract, right? Yeah,
here's a
basically.
piece of paper,
right?
And I'm going to tell you it's worth this.
And that piece of paper is literally, I mean, what is it called? I mean, that piece of paper is literally a placeholder for a promise. It is a promissory note. It is saying that because you hold this, you can exchange it. It has value, but that value only exists because we say it exists. It's ethereal. It doesn't actually exist.
Now we don't even do that because it's like, I don't know. It just goes into my account on Friday.
Right.
And my credit goes up, and then I use
ones and zeros.
I use this card that says I could buy this.
Kids have no concept of cash.
Well, even back in the day, you used to be like, okay, this is a physical piece of paper that represents a portion of gold, and they don't even do that anymore. Like nothing's even backed by gold anymore.
That's one of the big issues I have with. I mean, I know we can't change it, but everything. Bitcoin, but. We have no control. Like I laugh at people, or not laugh, but I giggle a little bit, with everyone that's all the cards and they're getting hacked. And I go, I use cash. I go, the only way I'm getting hacked is you have to knock me over for my money. And good luck with that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Granted, you do need cards. I use the cards for the companies to keep track of everything, but you do get hacked. You can't get hacked on cash. And so it's completely non-existent.
I love people who squirrel away. Oh, the Holocaust comes. I'll have all this cash.
It's buried in the yard.
There's millions in the banana stand.
Right. Right. What does that do? Shada says we are educated in all social graces. So much of how we move is about how we are.
Who we are.
Oh, sorry about who we are. And let me try this.
And not our can't read. We were educated in all social graces. So much of how we move is about who we are and not the person or circumstance. People should serve when they are young to be better understood. I'm thinking understood, not understand. But
no, to better understand.
Better understand. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, more and more places aren't taking cash.
I know. I actually got yelled at when we were in Utah. We went to the state park, the Zion National Park. I tried to pay the lady at the front cash. She almost had a conniption fit. She's like, you know how much we have to pay people to sit in a room and count dirty cash all day? I'm like, I'm sorry.
No, that's exactly it. People don't want the liability of holding the cash. The banks are no longer insuring large sacks of cash being held off premise, like before they get picked up. Like, there's a lot of things, it's and that's another one of those situations. I see people screaming at poor innocent people holding a pin pad, and it's like, you don't take cash, and it's like, I don't know where you are. I don't have to know where you are. It is definitely not the person holding the pin pad's fault. They're not taking cash. So don't yell at them for not taking cash. But I've been watching this. It's rampant. I mean, there are soon there will be no cash at major events. I mean, at the last fest that I threw, we literally had ATMs where you could put cash into the ATM and it would print you a temporary plastic debit card so that you could go use the rides and amusements.
You go down to the Wintrust arena down in Chicago. It doesn't take cash. It's all debit. But I went to the German the German franchise, Gomez and whatever.
Gomez y Guzman.
Yeah, and it's a German franchise that does tacos. I got a burrito, and the burrito came out to
German tacos,
$7.22. Now I had cash, so I gave the young person working in the drive-up window, here's the 22 cents, and here's the 20. Right?
They love
and honest to God, this young person took it and is looking at the nickels, because I had 2 nickels, a dime, and 2 pennies. Like,
I'm sorry, I'm laughing because it's sad.
Looking at it like, what is this? What? And I'm and of course I'm old, so I don't pull out my camera to catch this. But looking at it, and then kind of shrugs the shoulders,
like, what is this?
Puts it in, punches in 2022, and then counts me back, $13. But the look on this young person's face was absolutely glorious, because they're looking at these
just
nickels,
dumbfounded.
These nickels, like, are these a real thing? What is this?
That's sad, right? Dude.
It is amazing.
That's sad.
And to me, it's just crazy. More about places, not taking cash. Yeah. So there was, and when I handed the cash, I'm like, ooh, I wonder if they're going to hand that back and go, we don't do cash, right? Bob says, we're not currently on a gold standard. The United States and most of the countries use a flat money system. Or fiat money, excuse me. It's right. Fiat money is the correct term. Fiat money system, where currency is not tied to a physical commodity like gold. Well, It's been probably since the 70s, Bob.
In America, worldwide since 1999, actually.
Yeah. Airplanes tested that years ago. I don't like the idea. Too trackable. The card.
The card,
yeah.
The thing that I don't like about this whole thing and trying to push out cash and cards is, think about this one, right? You have a card on you, and you've spent too much money this month. They can stop you. I mean, I know this is a conspiracy theory type thing, but once you have a card,
after they charge you several fees, yes.
Right? But you know what I'm saying? Like, that's a control thing. You got plenty of money, but no, you can only spend X amount per month, right? And like I say, this is more of a conspiracy thing, but this is me thinking deep, going 8 levels deep. Right? Like, once they get cash, why do they not want cash, other than the few basic that we've talked about? But think about that one. Oh, no, can't you spent too much money today? Your card is suspended. Now what do you do? Because no one takes cash. Now what do you do? You're FUPAD. So enough of my conspiracy theory, but that was, you know what I mean? Think about that one. Why is there such a push to get rid of it? It's not that hard to count. Yes, it is dirty, and yes, you do need to continue make it, and da. There are definitely pros and cons, but I think there's definitely some. It's not as clear on the surface as you think it might be, in my opinion. Right. So for me, that's one reason I love cash. I don't get hacked, and it's for businesses. Those kids. It's sad to see that. I started laughing when he talked about that girl not being able to count nickels. Right, or not knowing what that was.
Yeah,
you know what? And I in the past have found myself kind of being in a dick man. If I was like in a bad mood or whatever, I do that. Give them $10, be like, oh wait, I got the change. They've already punched in $10 on their computer, right? And so now they have to go back, and it confuses them. And it's like, what is our system teaching these kids if they can't even just do basic math? How do you expect them to get financially savvy? How do you expect them to prosper in this world? I don't think that's what we're looking for, right? You know what I mean? Or what's happening. You're just going to exist and be a product and a cog of a wheel in a big, huge machine. So that's enough of me.
Say, Jesus, Scott, trying to end on that for the day. Why don't you?
Week, guys, think about. I mean, really, and that's the thing is, a lot of people don't think about these things, and sometimes my brain is my greatest superpower and also my biggest enemy, because I do go to that nth degree, but that is a very good possibility.
Yeah.
And you
how do kids get by being unable to count money? Gen X is going to survive with stick shift, cursive, and loose change. I'd agree.
Stick shift, yeah. Well, they're not even going to make stick shifts anymore.
No, they don't. They're all electronic electronic transmissions now. It's just a click, click, click.
Mm-hmm.
Is cash still king? Well,
in my world, it is.
Well, that's great, you bigot. It's actually queen. Why is it?
You want me to punch him, Dad?
You might want to get woke, sir. I'm just letting you know.
Woke no more. Did you not see that address? Great conversation. But to me, it's more about the psychological battle that I go on in my own head. And it's not really psycho. Yeah, it's not. It's not. Do they deserve a tip or should they have a tip? To me, it's the karma that I'm putting out. Am I being a dick, for not doing it? What's my intentionality behind it? And the karma and the peace that I've come up with in myself is, if I feel bad that I should have tipped, I tip. If I don't feel bad about not tipping, I don't. Right? So it doesn't matter where I'm standing, and it all depends on the experience that I'm having, the day that I'm having, the time of day it is, perhaps, maybe how much loose change or cash I have in my pocket, But, there are times where, my family, 6, 7 people go and sit down someplace and the service was below average. I give a below average tip. That's just, and I don't feel bad about that. Right. So the idea to me is, does it need to be everywhere? No, it doesn't. No,
I don't think it does. Because I ask those questions. Well, if you're not paying this child or this old person or this adult, whatever, who's standing behind this POS enough, then you should raise their wage, right? Because they're not even the ones that are servicing me, right? They're over here taking my card, beep, gonna ask you some questions, right? So there's a lot to me that goes through it, and I tip on gut feel and guttural instinct.
Let me ask you this: do you think we could actually even change behind it? Like for me, instead of the person at the donut shop or whatever that you're going to tip, how about it's actually not a tip; it's a gratuity. Being thankful, you're gracious for their service. I know it's just a play on words, right?
Yeah,
but then the
semantics,
tip is where it comes in for bars.
Right.
Restaurants, right, to ensure prompt service up front. The gratuity is at the end, so really a tip at the end. So when you're paying a server at the end, that's really a gratuity, right? You're being gracious for their service. The tip is in the beginning to ensure that good service. If you want to give more at the end, that's up to you.
Yeah.
But I mean, so the play on words is what people really don't understand.
So you're saying the tip is the first thing.
The tip is the first. The gratuity would be the last. You got me.
You walked right into that.
I slid right in.
Backed right into it.
Oh, wow, we're over today.
Never. I'd probably have yes.
Back in the day, but I'd never pick up a hitchhiker today.
Would you do it again?
I'll throw him a $20 bill and be like, "Call somebody." Oh, you got a phone? Someone else will stop.
Here's 20.
Here's 20. Go buy something.
Call
Lyft.
That's it. Listen, we got to get out of here. Today at 3, come back for In the Know with Steph and Joe, a very, very special guest. They're going to be talking about AI, right? And how for you to take advantage of it instead of being taken advantage of through AI. We've got a very, very special guest. I think is going to be a very unique. If we can pull this off, it's going to be a very, very, very unique show. 3:00 in the Noah Steph and Joe. Come in and check that out.
You giving out the special guest?
No, that's the hook. That's the hook. So go ahead and give us your closing statement there, and away we go.
You're talking to me.
Yeah.
Now, hey, thanks. Appreciate you tuning in today. As always, I mean, without you guys, we don't have a show. We hope you learned something, had fun, just enjoyed our show today. If you want, send us a gratuity, because we didn't ensure a prompt service here, but we are, if you're gracious for our idiocy and some of our knowledge, we appreciate it. So like, share, subscribe.
Some of our listeners' knowledge.
Some of our listeners' knowledge as well. So thank you.
That's where we go.
And just go out there, guys, be the change you want to see in the world. Work hard, be nice to people, love one another. Thank you for tuning in and have a great weekend.
216 Creator Studios, your gateway to professional podcasting. Whether you're a seasoned podcaster or just starting, 216 Creator Studios offers state-of-the-art podcast studios designed to meet all your recording needs. From crystal clear audio quality to a comfortable creative space, we've got you covered. With fully equipped rooms, expert support, and flexible booking options, you can focus on what matters most, your content. Join us and bring your voice to life in the best environment for podcast creation. 216 Creator Studios is here to help you create something extraordinary.